What is going on, baseball fans? I don't even want to get too much into this right now. I'm sad. Entertainer sad. I'm disappointed. I want to start. I'm going to try to go at this as non-biased as possible and say this is one game. Baseball is a long season. There's going to be ups and downs, and we showed some fight today.
Yeah.
Okay, we showed fight until the end. That's all you could ask for, right, Entertainer? I think we put up a valiant effort, and we saw some things. Let's start with positives. DeGrom was dominant. I know you called 7 shutout innings, but he only went 6.
Did I say 7? Okay.
I saw in the chat. I was in the chat before, guys. I was on the WHADDYA SHEA account. I'm going to try to do that more with the Entertainer and interact with you guys as much as possible. Those games stress me out. I honestly can't type. There's so much I want to say that it doesn't even fit in the character limit there. I have so much to say. But Entertainer, let's start there. Positive, DeGrom. I mean, everything we saw was what we would have expected. 2 for 2, or to start 2 for 2. He went 2 for 3. The ribby to help himself. We only had 2 runs. He's helping himself. I mean, the guy's the best in the game. I just want to say that. He's
hey, man, listen, man. Jacob DeGrom is legit, and anybody that says otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. DeGrom pitched his ass off, came right out, was throwing 100, 101. He did get a little lucky there in the first inning. Who hit that ball? Was that
Rhys Hoskins?
Hoskins, yeah, the ball.
Those were hitting the piss out of the ball today all over the field.
Yeah, they had a couple of nice hits there, but great play by Pilar. I want to give him credit there, even though I was very much against him being in the opening day lineup. A great play by Pilar, hit the cutoff man. They threw him out at third, but DeGrom was great tonight. I mean, he gave you the 101, 102. Was starting to tail up a little bit there in the 5th and 6th inning where it was 97. And, I kind of expected him only to go 6 innings today because it's the first start of the year. You know he's not going to throw more than 85 or 90 pitches. I'm sure Rojas had him on a pitch count there, which is why I was hoping the Mets would be able to open up a bigger lead. And, of course, we never hit for the guy. One of the 2 runs he drove in. I think McCann drove in the other, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, I mean, the offense just wasn't there tonight. We didn't get the timely hitting. We left the bases loaded at least once, if not twice. So the timely hitting it's the same problems we had last year. We struggled in the RBI opportunities, timely hitting, and the bullpen. Like you said, it's only one game. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to act like the world is ending. But, yeah, I mean, it's slightly concerning. I mean, we said going into the year that the bullpen was going to be the primary problem for this team. And sorry about that. Yeah. I got the ESPN scoreboard. We said the bullpen was going to be the primary problem for this team, and tonight it proved to be true.
Entertainer, I told you this several times on live streams as we would get so excited, and it's the same thing here, except it's like the reverse. We were such on a high that I was devil's advocate there. I was thinking negative. I'm like, guys, we're going to have this great pitching, 7 innings, and we just can't finish the game. What's concerning to me is those were our best guys. Those are the guys we're going to bridge the gap, because we can't go to Betances and we can't go to Familia. So I almost don't even blame the moves. I saw enough out of Castro. He throws fucking hard as hell.
Castro actually looked good.
His control is going to be his concern. I know that's his concern, but he was a nice, again, bridge the gap guy to who I thought would be able to handle the workload in Trevor May. And honestly, in May's defense, though, walked 2 dudes. One of them was McCutchen, who worked the count. It was a tough AB. I don't think they should have gone to loop. The rule in the MLB right now with how they treat lefties and the lefty specialist that you have to stay in with 3 batters is for that very reason. You shoot yourself in the foot if you go to him too early. And I know you want to get him to Harper, but honestly, I just didn't trust the gut check. It didn't trust Luke from the beginning. I want to go with my guy. May did get an out. He's not a ground ball pitcher, but I have more faith in him to get that double play than Aaron Luke.
The issue you have with Luke there, and I completely understood bringing in Luke, all right, because it was a lefty. That's why I knew they were warming Luke up if Harper came up in the inning. So I knew that's why they were warming him up. So I can't kill him for bringing Luke in. Like you said, a lefty, 1 out. You figure he gives you the better opportunity to get Harper out. But the issue there with bringing Luke in, you're putting him in a very high-pressure situation, a guy that is just coming in, hasn't thrown a pitch yet. You're asking him to come into a bases-loaded situation with the bases loaded, with 1 out at the time, with their best hitter up. So,
and asking him to make his best pitch, to your point, opening day, you saw it through everyone. Guillorme, uncharacteristic mistake, right? Everyone's making uncharacteristic mistakes. DeGrom, tough first inning. You got to shake cobwebs. So, I get the thinking, but in that situation, it was just like a head scratcher for me that I knew, and maybe it's the announcer jinx, but I value what Gary, Keith, and Ron say, and they said it from the beginning. It's the right move, but this could get bad really quickly. And Luke made a terrible pitch. He threw like a 70-mile-an-hour popcorn curve to Bryce Harper's ass. At least hit him harder. I hate Bryce Harper. Peg him, you peg him. He hit him in the best spot possible. He hit him in his left ass cheek.
Hold on 1 second. The dog's barking. I'm going to let her upstairs. 1 second.
Problem.
Just talk to the chat. I'll be right
back.
back.
We'll talk to the chat. I do want to appreciate most of you guys who came over from the Entertainah stream again. I want to interact with you guys. I know most of you guys have come over from there to begin with. Shout out some people I know. Ray West. We got Asia in here. Stand up, Asia. John. I see you guys interacting in the chat. Guys, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost at 400. That's incredible. The last 2 shows, we were climbing to 350. Next, I realized we were at 400. So that's awesome. Guys, awful night. Awful night. And I'm going to talk about it with the Entertainah. But it started off bad. And I want to get his take on it. And the big thing for me is the lineup. I think from the beginning, we set Jacob deGrom out to failure. Again, and Entertainah, I'm glad you came back. That lineup, my issue with the Mets, and the stat is, and I tweeted it out on the WHADDYA SHEA Twitter account. Go over there, follow that too if you guys are Twitter people. 31 times the Mets have blown a Jacob deGrom potential win. 31 times over his career. Today's no different. I wasn't surprised at least bit that this shit happened. It's so predictable. And I think, though, from the beginning, we didn't put our best offensive lineup out there. Dom Smith has got to be out there. We scored 2 runs, Entertainah. 2 runs, and 1 was from deGrom. You got to have Dom out there.
How on opening day, and I can't stand Luis Rojas. I'll be the first to say it. I want to give him a chance because he's only been a manager for 60 games. But how on opening day do you go out there with a lineup, like you said, for a pitcher that we historically do not score runs for, a guy that never gets run support? How in the world on opening day does Luis Rojas let our first, and it's bad enough that he put Pilar in the lineup. Let's start there. Like you said, Dom Smith should be in the lineup. But when you do that, which they shouldn't have done to begin with, how is Brandon Nimmo not leading off? And I know it's a lefty-lefty thing, but how are you leading off this season with Kevin Pilar as your first batter of the year, the guy that's our 5th outfielder? I was shocked beyond belief when I saw that lineup before the day started.
I've never seen that lineup before in my life. I watched every spring training game. Never once. It was either Pilar or Nimmo starting. Never did I see them in a lineup together. And if I did, it was not in that way, shape, or form. Why Nimmo is not leading off is astonishing to me. And then they put him in left where he doesn't really even play. He didn't really play it in spring. Again, I watched every spring game. He didn't look comfortable out there. He could have made a few plays. They were challenging plays, but he missed them. Dom could have done the same thing. And Pilar saved a run. Fine. But Dom makes errors in the outfield, and you've seen it through his entire career. The next inning, this is like the Cespedes effect. He's going to give up 2 with his glove. He's going to give you 4 the next inning. And it's like you need that on a team that lacks offense and clutch offense like the Mets. And like Lindor, he was our best opportunity to break this game open. He was the best opportunity, and he worked the walk, and that killed. And, dude, he and McNeil, I love their approach at the plate, and I want to say that they didn't really have an impact today, but I think that was just right place at the right time. I think Jeff is aggressive, still swinging at first pitches, and I want that to stay exactly as is because I think once those start falling, we're good. But, yeah, Entertainah, jump in. Dom Smith, the effect he would have had on this offense, in my opinion, it just changes things.
He's our 2nd or 3rd best hitter. He's got to be in the lineup. Opening day, he's got to be in the lineup the majority of the time. I thought that Rose just got way too cute there. I thought he got way too cute. Your point about McNeil, McNeil actually hit probably the hardest hit ball by any Met today. It was just bad luck. He hit it right at the second baseman.
The wind was gusting too. Even on that Pete home run, I felt all day the wind was trouble. You saw the center fielder make an error at that too. I mean, the wind was really a problem in Philadelphia today. But with that said, McNeil hit it to the deepest part of the park.
Yeah,
Crush that.
McNeil hit it right on the screws, and Pete, same thing. Pete, that I thought that was gone off the bat. I thought it was gone off the bat. But I mean, it's a tough loss. I'm not going to flip out. But yeah, I mean, I think you bring up a good point as well with Loop, and I kind of said it in my stream. I knew they were bringing him in as soon as they warmed him up. But you're bringing him into a bases loaded situation against Bryce Harper it might have been the better idea to leave Trevor May in there at that point in time. Might have been the better idea.
When the game matters and it's the postseason, I will respect and understand this the call. But for opening day, and I think that's the thing, sometimes you take that real person perspective out of it. It's just it's a tall task. It's a tall task to ask. I know Luke really didn't get too much action. Even in spring, like I like you get bullpen stuff, but nothing's like live game. I want to shout out some people in the group. I got John hyping me up. I appreciate that. Asia, the Nets did win against Tana, and some for you guys who were part of Entertainah stream, I was in there. Dude's multitasking. I mean, come on. We got 2 calls for the price of 1. I mean, top notch. That was top notch.
I tried my best. I tried to update the Nick game here and there.
Another close game though. Julius had another chance at redemption there. Yeah,
Nick's actually. I didn't watch the game, obviously, the majority of it, but I honestly thought in my heart the Nets were going to blow us out tonight. So Nick's actually put forth a good effort tonight, but in a losing effort.
Harden did get hurt. Let's see. McLove and Dom Smith isn't even that bad defensively compared to Nimmo. I agree. At least in left field, let Nimmo roam center field. Just the Pilar move in itself is just so strange. I don't understand it.
If you would have asked me before the year started, how many games is Pilar going to start if we remain healthy, I would have said like 15.
Not opening day.
Definitely not opening day.
Opening day.
And I figured he'd be like a late game replacement, a 7th inning guy, an 8th inning guy to come in for Dom Smith for defensive purposes. But to take your best, you could argue that Dom Smith is our best hitter. I don't think he is, but you could argue it. To take one of our best hitters out of the lineup opening day for a pitcher that we notoriously do not hit for. When I saw that I even wrote it on Twitter. I'm like, what the blank? I'm like, how is this guy out of the lineup on opening day? I get the lefty thing. I don't care. You're talking about the number 4 starter. It's not a dominant lefty. It's opening day. Dom Smith needs to be in the lineup. The one thing I'll say about Lindor that I noticed, and he didn't make any incredible plays. He is so good. He is so sure-handed in the field. He looks smooth. And I'll say that it is nice to have a professional shortstop with the glove because we haven't had that for a bit.
Up the middle, he had that double play to Jeff. That was a clean turn.
Yeah, and he made another really nice player earlier in the game as well. The guy is sure-handed at shortstop.
Yeah, so Red Tesla, I like that you bring up Rojas. Uncle Stevie might make the change. I don't know. I never really understood the Rojas signing. Obviously, he wasn't our first choice because of Beltran. It was kind of sprung on him. But this is what I mean. Like, I feel like he gets too cute. Like, and then taking out JD for Guillorme, and I get it again. Guillorme, one of our best defensive players. But I felt like he was going for every trick in the book tonight. And I don't think you really needed to do that. Like, he got cute with the lineup, was getting cute with the defense, was making the bullpen changes, taking care of DeGrom. It's like I felt like he was just, like, condensing it. Like, you got to let the guys play sometimes. Like, how is JD ever going to gain momentum at third base if you always take him out in big situations on defense? And I understand high pressure situation, postseason, so on and so forth. You want these moves to be made day one. I don't know. Like, go with your guys. No, sometimes all of them.
Now let me ask you on that play. Do you think that was more on Guillorme or do you think that was more on McCann? I thought it was more on Guillorme.
I think it was more on Guillorme. I think I got to look at the replay again. I mean, the only way it could be on McCann is if he was oddly footed. I didn't really see that. I saw it still hit his glove.
It hit his glove, but in that situation, you still got to hold the bag because it's a forced play at the plate. What
he could have done is it was still high throw. I was going to say if McCann could have. It's like when you're taking a stolen base at second, right? The shortstop sometimes has to overplay it, come off it, and go for the tag instead. Right. I mean, even though it's a force, you can.
But yeah, his momentum would have been going to the left. And exactly. No way he could have came back and tagged him.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's on the throw. But again, now you're putting Guillorme in, and this is his role. But first game of the season, he's been sitting his ass on a cold, windy bench in Philadelphia all game. High pressure situation. Again, that's why they get paid the big bucks. I'm just saying you're asking for everyone's best day one. That's a tall task. Yeah. I think and then you're not even playing your best. Yeah, we didn't get Dom Smith in the game, so
tough one. It's a tough one to take because it's the Phillies. Yeah. They're now 4-0, and anytime you lose a DeGrom start, and again, I'm not panicking. I see Yankees fans acting like the world's over after opening day, and now all of a sudden they're rubbing in our faces that we lost on opening day. I'm not panicking as a Met fan. I don't want panic to set in for anybody. It's a 162-game season. But anytime you lose a Jacob deGrom start, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Yeah. You know, because he's our guy. He's the guy that when he goes out there and pitches, you expect to win 25 of those 32 starts. And this was the one that we should have won. And, you know, obviously due to defense in the bullpen, it didn't work out. So it's a tough loss. The one, you know, I guess trying to look at it from a positive standpoint, I said in the stream, I said, well, we notoriously win on opening day. I think we're like 37-12 or something over our last.
Yeah, we're the best record. We're the best record for sure.
And I'm like, usually it doesn't turn out well. Since I've been watching the Mets, they've only gone to the playoffs in 99, 2000, 2006, 2015, and 2016. Yep. I'm like, well, maybe it'll be a good omen, but just a bad start to the year.
Shout out to Body Knowledge. Would a cheesesteak help? Yes. And with. I want it with. I do know the terminology. I went to school down near Philadelphia, so I get it. Nothing's better than beating the Phillies, though. And this one would have been good. I love beating the Phillies. I'm glad, though, Jake held it down because I was getting a lot of grief over Zach Wheeler having a great day at the plate. But you still know who the GOAT is. Don't come at deGrom ever. Also, Mage is in the chat. Fuck the bullpen. Mage, fuck the bullpen. I've been talking about this. It's like we knew this was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And again, I want to remind everyone that would be our best. That's probably the best we got out of there. I mean, Familia. I guess maybe we get something out of Familia this year. I don't think we're going to get anything out of Betanzas. I just have no optimism for that. But really, I mean, we don't until Lugo gets back. And God. We need Seth Lugo. Chat, we need Seth Lugo. We are dying without him. Holy crap. That was the one guy.
I'm going to tell you what right now, man. If this team, and I think they will, I think we'll bounce back. I think we'll stay competitive up until the trade deadline. They have got to add some arms in that bullpen. There is no way this team, you can feel comfortable right now thinking that we could last a full 162-game schedule with this bullpen. That has got to be the primary objective when we get to the trade deadline. Stay in the race, stay competitive, and you're going to need at least one big-time arm to solidify that bullpen because the way Trevor May looked tonight, let's put it this way, I'm not supremely confident in him. I'm not in love with this bullpen. That is the one thing I'm shaky about. I'm very optimistic about the rest of the team, even though we didn't see the full lineup today. I think the defense will be solid in the infield. I think the overall lineup is legit. I think the starting rotation is even good. But the bullpen is a big, big question mark, and we're going to have to overcome it throughout the year.
So Stro is on the hill tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I want to talk about Jacob deGrom to the Hall of Fame in a second, but speaking of the bullpen, my last note, look at what the Phillies did to their bullpen. I know Alvarado got touched up by us a little bit today, but I actually like him as a lefty arm. Dude touches like 102.
That guy, man.
Their bullpen sucked last year. Sole reason they did not make the playoffs. I mean, they've been good. You know, they gave Bryce Harper a boatload of money for long enough that they should have been competitive, and they haven't pieced it together primarily for the bullpen. They addressed that. I kind of like what the Phillies have done to their bullpen. Their Achilles heel is they rely on Hector Neris, and that's not a great idea. But everyone else, Archie Bradley, I like that he's kind of resurging over in Philly. I hate to give him a compliment. But the Phillies did address it. The Mets got to continue to address it. I think you're right. We got to trade for someone. Jacob deGrom's Hall of Fame. I did think that was interesting. In the broadcast, they were talking about it, how that's his goal. You know, so he wants to get to the Hall of Fame. He's at that stage of his career. He's 33 years old. And the catch is, though, that, you know, back in the day, they used to credit wins very heavily for the Hall of Fame, and he's just never going to get it. I think he's at like 70, they said. And he's not getting to 250. There's no way.
I don't care what the wins are. You watch this guy. You watch this guy pitch since he's been in the bigs. He gives you another 3 or 4 years. There is no way you could keep this guy out of the Hall of Fame. I'm not worried about if they keep him out because of win total. The guy had the greatest year probably in the last 15, 20 years when he won his Cy Young, and he won 10 or 11 games. So wins to me are a ridiculous stat to go by anyway. In today's day and age where you pull the pitcher out after 6 innings and the bullpen blows it for you, he's got no run support over his entire career. Jacob deGrom's a Hall of Famer.
It's like the same thing, though, with him and the wins and the Cy Young. Like, it's not that it was going to be a definitive thing, but people were, like, considering this because of, like, the old school way of going about it. It's like, throw that shit out the window. I did have a cool stat on Jacob deGrom, too. They said in the pregame, Jacob deGrom, since they kept track of this stat in 2008, They started tracking velocity. He's the only person over the last 13 years to increase his velocity by 4 miles an hour.
I saw that stat today during the game.
Wild.
And that's insane to me. And people in the chat said PEDs. I'm like, no, I don't think this guy looks like he weighs 150 pounds soaking wet. I think it's mechanics, and I think it's learning how to grow as a pitcher. But you look at the velocity from 2015 to now, 4 miles an hour, that's a ridiculous. Usually it goes the other way. You remember Tom Glavine when we got him? Well, maybe you don't remember. You're a little bit younger than me.
No, yeah, I remember.
Glavine had to reinvent himself as a pitcher because he didn't have that velocity anymore. Pedro Martinez, same thing. When we got him, these guys had to learn how to pitch. It is very rare that you see a pitcher 32, 33 years old where the average velocity is going up. That is a very unique stat.
A fan with a mic. Jake ain't going anywhere. I did see Entertainah, you talk about this on your stream a little bit. They were in talks about an extension. I wonder if it kind of boils with the whole Bauer thing. Jake's happy. He ain't going anywhere. He's lived this misery this whole time. You think he's gonna give up now? He's suffered so much already. How much? And that's the sad thing about today. And everyone here can relate because this is kind of like a therapy session. That's not even the worst. That wasn't even the worst way possible.
There's been much worse.
I was like, I actually turned around for the play. I hadn't seen it live, and so I rewound. I'm like, we could have had a home to first double play to end the inning and get out tied, but instead we botch it, 2-run score, and the inning breaks open. Yeah, it seems about right. Yeah, it sounds.
Now let me ask you on that play. Let's say Guillermo makes a perfect throw, leads the catcher. Do you think they turned 2 there? Because I watched the replay. It looked like it didn't.
He probably wouldn't have.
I don't think they would have. I think it would have only been 1 out because
the angle. I think McCann would have known it's a bang play, and so as he sees that runner getting closer, he's probably just focusing on the catch, which sucks even more because that's probably his primary focus that he still missed the ball. So I don't think they would have got 2, but there was a chance. There
was definitely a chance.
Could have, it would have been nice. Everyone wants to talk about it. Yes, Matt's won today. He pitched very well. If you didn't follow spring, and I know I keep referencing spring, a lot of people don't, take too much into consideration with it. And I don't either. Obviously, like the numbers are going to be skewed, but a good outing's a good outing for a pitcher. And so Matt's looked good. And so he carried that into this season, and good for him. I think he needed to get out of New York. I think it was getting to him.
Match is one of the funnier pitchers since I've been a Mets fan because you see it. You always saw the stuff. For a lefty, the guy threw really hard. I think it was a lot of mental. I really do. I always thought it was a lot of mental with Matz. Never went deep in the starts, but he was a head case. He was definitely a head case. I think his biggest problem was his head more so than anything else.
You want to know what's interesting, too? I wonder if it plays into into an account that he lived so close. So many people
grew up on Long Island.
They said today, I don't know if it was on stream or the pregame, that, a lot of people were talking in his ear. But I don't know what that means. I don't know if it was family or whatnot. But I'd imagine if you grew up, you're the hometown hero, you're pitching for the Mets. It's got to be nice for him. I mean, how long's he been there? His entire life playing baseball the same way. He's what now? How old is he? 27, 28? I don't know. That's a complete guess. But he's young. He's not that old. So he needs to get out. He needs to break free. Spread those wings.
Steven Matz. And by the way, I just want to say thank you to all you guys, man. This is by far the most we've ever had in one of these live streams. And I figured we'd get a decent crowd because Mets is back. And I don't know if you're free tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the game again tomorrow. And if you're free, we'll do another one of these. But I appreciate all you guys for being here. But speaking of Matz to me has like the most memorable debut start in like Mets history. Steven Matz, that game. Remember the game he debuted where I think he went like 3 for 4 at the plate.
He got 3 hits.
He got 3 hits.
Doubles, I think.
He drove in like 3 or 4 runs, and then you see the shot of his grandfather in the crowd, crying and clapping his ass off, and that was such a magical year in 2015. But it just never came together for Matz. It seemed like you said like the hometown kid and grew up on Long Island and grew up probably a Mets fan, and he ended up getting to play for his hometown team and started off with a magical season where they go to the World Series. It just never worked out after that.
He has nasty stuff. But yeah, I mean, Ray said it, 50% of pitching is mental. I don't know if it's 50%, but it's definitely something in there. Also, Entertainah, before I forget it, because it was funny, other guy's quote, I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly.
That's such a great movie.
He kicks over the water cooler.
such a great movie. The other
as soon as I said I got to spread my wings, I thought of the peacock. Yeah, I wish Mage was here too. Mage is doing things. He was in the chat. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but I'm sure he appreciates that. And I didn't want to jump in, but yeah, you got me excited talking about the people who are in this. Definitely the most we've had in here at one time. I was telling them when you left, we're almost at 400 subs. I don't know if we got there while we're on this stream. I'm sure we're going to get there. But, the last show we were doing, we were climbing to 350. Next thing you know, we're right there. I mean, that's music to my ears, guys. I appreciate every bit of it. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Baruch, but hey, what's up? How's it going? I don't want to miss anything. Do we have any good questions in here? No, a lot of Matts. You guys love Steven Matts. I love Steven Matts because he's a fellow Steven. I think I'm biased by it, but he spells his name differently. Us PHs and our V's, it's a different side of the line. I feel like I'm not a traditional Steve. I don't know why. Tino.
I don't know why I was never a Matts guy. I never was. I was never a Matts guy. I don't know, just something about him. I just felt like he didn't have the head for New York. I never thought he was, even though he grew up in New York. I didn't think that he was meant for New York. Probably within a year or two. The pitcher that I love and the pitcher that I cannot wait to get back is Noah Syndergaard. Mm-hmm. That guy, if he could ever stay freaking healthy, that's a guy that's meant to pitch in New York.
Are you going to join his book club? Have you joined his book club yet? I'm not a reader. He has a book club.
He's got a book club. I didn't know he's got a book club.
Yeah, you got to get on Instagram. I know the chat, you know about Noah Syndergaard's book club. You definitely know about it. Yeah, he was quiet about it recently, but he posted about it today. That was his opening day post. He put up a book. He has a book club.
What is it, like Thor comic books? What is it?
No, he reads books. He reads actual books. I'll pull one up. I'll tell you the title of the book he's reading right now. I had to make the joke. Yeah, but he does look slim. He posts pictures shirtless reading books. And but he looks in good shape. I prefer this Noah over the bulky, big Noah trying to overthrow. I think he's going to be in really good shape. They said he was throwing 97, 98. I can't wait for him to be here.
I see Thor around the All-Star break. Yeah, I've heard around. I think it's at least 60 games. I think I heard, right? Isn't he on the 60 game injured list or something like that? It's a minimum of that.
Yeah, I think it's 60 games.
I think it's going to be around the All-Star break. I'm thinking early July if we're lucky, maybe late June. But I don't think the Mets are going to rush him back. And I think we have the starting rotation that could get us through. I really do. I think you add him, the starting rotation could be dynamite. The rotation's not my question. It's the bullpen. It scares me to death. But no, I'm not worried about Syndergaard. I think Syndergaard will be back. I think the rotation will be fine. A big X factor, and we talked about it before the season started, pitches tomorrow, and that's Marcus Stroman.
This is a good question that leads into what Matt is asking. Does Guillorme or Davis start tomorrow? I think that's a really tough question. I don't know. Because they did say Guillorme would start every Stroman start, but after today, do you start him? That's a good question. You probably got to go with the gut. But again, so if you go with your gut, you bet the opposite. Analytically, they're going to start JD Davis. Now, I have no idea. They'll probably start Guillorme. I think that's the play to make.
Well, it makes sense. He's a contact pitcher. You want your best defense. It makes sense. But
hold on, Entertainah. We got to 400 subs.
Awesome, nice, man.
I appreciate it. 426, John. I'm going back. This thing is flying off the shelves, going like hot.
Thank you to all you guys, man. All the support, man. All my subs that came over. I see Nate in here, and Nate's trying to dig in a little bit. He's a Yankees fan. He says, "What do you say?" Ask Chris where this falls on the Mets scale of pain. I'm going to be honest with you, Nate. I'm a Met fan. I've been a Met fan for, I don't know, since about 93, like a diehard 95, 96. I've been a diehard since then. And I've been through much worse than this. This is like a 2 on the pain scale. For the Yankees, it'd be a 12 because you guys don't know what pain feels like. But for a Mets fan, opening day, I mean, come on. It's opening day. I've been through a lot worse than this. But yeah, it's a tough loss. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
we're numb to it.
Instead of losing like a week of sleep, which would be like an 8 or 9 on the pain scale, I'll lose a night of sleep. Like I won't sleep tonight, Nate, but it's like a 2. Mets fans are used to pain. I'm
drinking on a Monday, Nate. I'm drinking beer on a Monday. I didn't want to do this. I didn't choose the Mets, and I think that's a lot of us. We didn't choose this life; it chose us. It's just where we're at, okay? It's where we're at, and I let off the show. I'm sad on the inside. I'm sad. I'm trying to keep it going for you guys. Hold on. There's still some Noah love. Never split the difference. I don't know if you could see that. I'm trying to clear it. That's Syndergaard on a bench, on a dugout bench.
That's his book he's reading.
Yeah, and he has a stamp on the corner. He has a few of them. Yeah, Noah's out there. I don't know. We have gamers, we have book clubs. We're climbing. I love to see that in these subs, guys. Keep giving us updates. Does Lucchesi go to the bullpen with Syndergaard back? Yeah, I actually think I heard them today that Lucchesi may bump to the bullpen because DeGrom's starting Saturday. So I think Lucchesi. So I don't even know if they're getting 5 guys in because of the short week. I'm not sure. They
do that a lot at the beginning of the year. They'll skip the fifth starter a lot, and they'll go back to the ace because they'll have. Well, this wasn't a traditional start of the year for the Mets, but traditionally you have your opening day, then you have the day off, and then you have 2 other days after that. So traditionally they will do that a lot. You'll skip your fifth starter the first time around. I'm not sure how the schedule plays out this time around. I'm not sure.
That was a big reason for the pitch count too. Then, if he's going to start Saturday, you got to make sure that DeGrom's ready. If you're committing to that, if you're saying that, especially with like rotational guys, if you're going with that rotation, you have to make sure you monitor that pitch count. I do want to say some things in the chat. Rich McNeil didn't do much today. He probably saw 4 pitches. I think he swung at the first pitch all 4 times. He made contact. He's still our best contact hitter. Like, I want McNeil. That's my issue. I feel like I don't know where he fits in the lineup, and I don't know if where he is the best spot. I can't figure it out. I think he's a top of the order guy because he's a good table setter, but I like that because he's a good leadoff hitter because he swings at the first pitch. But at the same time, you also want a leadoff hitter that works to count. So I don't know.
McNeil, we said it earlier. McNeil might have hit the hardest hit ball in the game. It was just right at him. But I really like McNeil in the 2-hole. And I don't know if that's what they're going to elect to do. I like him in the 2-0. Like you said, he's our best contact hitter. Nimmo's good at getting on base. I think he's a perfect fit to advance him to second with 1 out, with productive outs, things like that. Obviously, he's going to put the ball in. I've always liked McNeil in the 2 spot. Now, if you do that, you're probably going to have to drop Conforto to the 5 or the 6 because you're going to put Lindor in the 3 spot. But I think it'll be, they'll feel it out as the year goes along, and who's ever hot, maybe they'll move up in the order. But I've always thought McNeil's a perfect number 2 hitter. I don't love him in the 6 spot. I think he's better suited in the 2.
We got something here. You hope Uncle Stevie sees this, goes after some players via trade, solid relievers. Rojas rethinks his life decisions. And no, I'm glad you said this because I was going on a rant with my friend right before I got into the air. I think Entertainah caught a part of it. And I said I would come on this show and tell you guys that Luis Rojas should be charged for fucking treason for what he did to the Mets today. He was an anti-Met from day one. His lineup set us up for failure, and he deserves to be charged and judged as such because he's a Benedict Arnold. He should have put Dom in the lineup. It kills me that Dom was on deck to end the game. Seeing Dom warming up and not getting an at-bat in that 9th broke my heart. And then the judgments of putting Loop in, it just Rojas, better.
I am not
better.
I'll be the first to say I'm not a fan of Rojas. I wasn't a fan of the lineup when the day started, but I'm not going to put it all on Rojas. At the end of the day, the players have to perform. I don't think he did anything crazy outlandish in terms of the bullpen decision. Yeah, you brought him into a pressure-filled situation, but let's be fair. Trevor May put him in that situation. Trevor May loaded the bases. Trevor May wasn't getting the job done. The other thing I'll say is Guillermo made a bad throw. Yeah, you could have said leave J.D. Davis in, but Guillermo's supposed to be the better defender. I'm going to be a little fair to our manager, but I hated the lineup at the start. Was not a fan of that. But at the end of the day, the players have to perform. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Rojas. I'll be the first to say it.
I just said I'd be hard. I wasn't hard on him yet. I was judgmental, but I am I'm not happy with the lineup. I just wasn't happy with it. I put work in on this channel. WHADDYA SHEA, guys. If you haven't subbed yet, sub. This is great. I love that the sub count is continuing to climb. Thumbs up too. That all matters. But we put work into these videos about what the opening day lineup could be. It makes me look bad because it was nowhere close. Nowhere close.
I'm going to tell you, you bet a little bit. What do you think the prop bet would have been that the first batter for the New York Mets this year would have been Kevin Pillar?
Yeah, no. I mean, he probably would have been like fourth best.
1,000 to 1? 1,000 to it.
Close to it, yeah, give or take. Because you got to go Nimmo as the overwhelming favorite, and then it's probably a few other big guys. I would have probably put Jeff in front of him in terms of odds. If you asked me before the year, I'd be like, yeah, Nimmo, McNeil, then like you could just play with guys at that point. Like you could fucking
Lindor,
yeah, you could put Lindor. So yeah, probably fourth. Probably fourth best. I didn't even know he'd start. So I mean, take that for what it is. Yeah, I did Asia. I heard about DMX. I don't know if he's fully passed yet, but that is unfortunate. I do like that some people went outside his hospital and did a vigil for him. DMX is my guy. High school football. It's all I listened to. I mean, I didn't have a choice.
Wait, did he pass away?
I don't know.
I know that
prayers are there.
I know that he's been in critical condition for like 3 days, but I haven't heard any update on that.
No, yeah, I haven't heard an update on it, but I have heard. Simon, I appreciate the shout out. Yes, hit the like button. Do everything you can. It's all appreciated. And right, yes, Nimmo is the perfect leadoff hitter. I don't understand. If you told me what Nimmo's odds would be to begin the year, how about that? To be our leadoff hitter as the overwhelming favorite, maybe at least minus 500. Yeah, I was gonna say 5-1 at least. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like or vice versa. Obviously not 5-1, but yeah, 1 of 5. But minus 500, not minus 1,000 maybe, but a pretty damn good chance.
Listen. There's nothing that makes me happier than seeing Nimmo get on base after a walk and hustle down to first base. And I was disappointed because I want to see Nimmo in the leadoff order lineup. I think you guys kind of were a little surprised when I gave my answer as to what I think is the X factor and the guy that I think could have a very good year this year that people aren't expecting this year. And I think it is Nimmo with this better lineup behind him. But you got to put him in the right spot. Mm-hmm. You know, there is not. If Nimmo's gonna be in the lineup, he needs to lead off. Unless you had him 9th. Like if you want to get creative, you want to do a double leadoff type thing. But he's a guy that's a table setter. The 8th spot is literally the worst spot to put a hitter like Brandon Nimmo. The 8th hitter is kind of a guy that you want a thumper, where you got the pitcher on deck. It's a home run or nothing situation. You don't want table setters in front of the pitcher. What are you setting the table for? So I don't. Nimmo should never bat 8th. Never, ever bat 8th.
I don't know what went into that decision. William is just like, yeah, plus if Pilar strikes out instead of grounding out, Lindor, the whole, again, like before I could even get through this, it just bothered me on like what was leading up to it. It's like, even in the 9th, it's like Pilar shouldn't have that at bat. That's not to say Pilar isn't a good hitter. He shouldn't be that guy. Your leadoff hitter isn't just the first guy who bats in the game. It's top of the order. Like you should be the top of the order guy. He's not the top of the order guy. He's just not. And I barely got around to the fact that Nimmo was that guy for us. And I finally bought into it. And they're like, well, guess what? Neither is he. Pilar. It's like, come on. Like, stick to one thing. I can't have the lineup being all over the place too. You know what I mean? We're dealing with so much stuff. The last thing we need is this lineup, this offense that should be our staple to be a factor. Nate, good night, my man. I don't know if you're saying, yep. Let's see here. Y'all have a good night. Hope you guys figure out a way to escape the Mets. I'll see you on Giant streams whenever possible. But yeah.
We don't escape it, man. It encompasses us. We'll be back at it tomorrow. But what I want to ask you about is tomorrow now. What do you think about the pitching matchup tomorrow?
Who's the 5 of the Phillies is throwing? I don't know who's on the hill.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick. Obviously we know who's going for.
I can't wait to see Stroman. I can't wait to see Stroman.
I think Stroman's our X factor this year in terms of the pitching staff. We need him to pitch very well.
Not for nothing though. I do feel like I might have put this on us when I said that. I hope we don't necessarily start that hot, because it means everything's back to normal. I did say that at one point, and first Phillies, like the Phillies are rolling right now, but they showed that stat where the Braves got swept by the Phillies last year, won the division. So it's not the be all end all. And we obviously know the Mets infamously started like 10-1, 11-1, 12-1, whatever it was, and went on to just implode. So that's why I'd rather start with some losses, but we need a win tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. We need to win tomorrow. It's not a must win, but
when you factor in, and I want to say hello to Sox Arizona, I saw him pop in as well. When you factor in, and I think it's Anderson pitching for the Phillies tomorrow, from what I see, Stroman versus Anderson. When you factor in, we had to miss our opening series, which means that the Mets going into this series are pitching their 1, 2, and 3 starters against the Phillies 4, 5, and 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going against their ace, game 3. We blew a game against their 4th starter, not because of DeGrom, but because of our bullpen. But when you factor that in, it makes tomorrow's game pretty pressure-packed. You don't want to start off 0-3. I'm sorry, our 3 versus their 1. the third game of the series. But again, it's a 162 game schedule, but you don't want to be swept and then going with your 4-5-1 in the next series. We got to get a win tomorrow. Strowman's got to come up big for the Mets.
So I think that 3 is going to be Peterson. I saw that Walker start the home opener. So that'll be Peterson. That would be very Mets-like to beat Aaron Nola and lose the other 2 games with your 1 and 2. That would be so Mets-like. But one more time, William O'Sullivan, you're right. We got to play our best guys. I, for all I've known, at opening day at any level, you put your best guys out there. Worry about being a manager 161 other games in the MLB. Put your best guys out there. Believe in them, see what they got, and then you make some adjustments. You got plenty of games, but in a small sample size, I don't know. I'm the type of guy, I'm keeping my guys out there. Tatis just got injured. How serious, Josh? Don't do this to me, Josh. What happened?
You have all of his baseball cards.
Yeah, I got rookie cards. Yeah.
You're a big fan of Tatis.
Yeah. While swinging. Unfortunate night. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just reading the chat. Ray, I agree with you. That's just what the Mets do. I still think this offense will come around. It's 1 game, but I think this Mets offense is going to be lethal. I think they'll come around, and I think once we start going, the Mets are going to go on a nice streak. I just think our lineup is way too talented. Even if we get swept to start the year, I'm not going to go over the top panic mode, but tomorrow's a pretty big game. I mean, you don't want to start 0-2 with your top 2 starters going against their 4 and 5.
MH, I love this lineup, and this pleads my case. I'll take Nimmo leading off with this lineup and then slide everyone down, and I'm content with that. Just let Nimmo do his job as the leadoff. I'm still going to drive myself insane late in games. I think Lindor can be an awesome 3-hitter.
Why can't he be?
Awesome hitter.
Did you see that stat today by Lindor? I was blown away when I saw it. He's one of only 5 hitters in the history of baseball to have 3 consecutive years of 30 home runs and 40 doubles in the same season.
Yeah, he's such a good hitter. And he was just early today on all his swings. He was early. They walked him for that reason. Ron Darling called it on the pitch, on the broadcast. He's just like, I feel a walk coming here. He just smoked 3 down the freaking left field sideline. There's no way they want to pitch to him. Non-contact injury. I hope that's not bad, Sox. I hope it's not bad.
John, have a great night. I see you in the chat, man. Have a great night. Thanks for popping in, my man. But yeah, I think that's my preferred lineup as well. Nimmo at the top, McNeil 2, Lindor 3. I think that's my preferred lineup as well.
It's just such good baseball. That's such good baseball. And then your 4, 5, 6 just trickles in with probably arguably that's your core. Because you have Conforto at your 3, but Pete, Dom, and Mike and Dom wherever. If you want one of them to go 4, you could put fucking Dom 4 if you wanted to. But honestly, Pete's hitting so good. I think he went the other way today. A couple times he's got it.
That was encouraging to see Pete. I think his base hit was the opposite. That was a
his defense was really good too. We made a few good plays on defense.
Made a nice diving stop. He's a key to this team too. And I'm not worried about Pete. I don't know why anybody is, to be honest with you. I know he started off slow last year. I'm not worried about Pete. I think he's going to be great. But yeah, the other Conforto too. Conforto, we all know, is his best when he goes the opposite field. You even saw him trying to make a concerted effort in one of his at bats to try to go opposite field. And then he got that big hit in the 9th. So, but yeah, Pete definitely tried to go opposite field a few times today.
Stevie Mack, you said that Bryce Harper said that they got fired up when we pulled DeGrom. Yeah.
I think any team's going to get fired up when you pull
There is a meme out there in the Mets Twitter world where it's 2 seasons ago, we're in Atlanta, and Mickey Callaway is going to pull Jacob DeGrom from the start, similar to this, and he has this scared look on his face, and he's just like, no. He's just like, don't take me out yet. I don't get it. I don't get it. Obviously, teams are licking their chops, especially when the bullpen is the Mets bullpen. If it's an all-star game, I wouldn't be looking at my chops. If we had some people I could rely on back there. And you want to know what I was chanting the whole time? I wanted the Mets to come back. I was like, I can't wait. We're going to come back. Pete home run. We'll go up 1 run. And then Edwin Diaz comes in and just shoot me. Just going through 3 outs of Edwin Diaz after that roller coaster. Oh, my God. I couldn't do that on day 1. I couldn't.
We need Diaz to get his feet wet, though. We need Diaz to get his feet wet. But
yeah, blow the first one so this way we can move on.
I'd like to see Diaz come in there with a nice 3-run lead, come in comfortable, get your feet wet, and get a save tomorrow. I'd like to see that.
I would like that too. Alonso is more of a guarantee than Daniel Jones easily. I don't know about that. No. Well, I'm torn.
I think I agree with that. I love Daniel Jones, but
I want Daniel Jones to do great this season, though. I need to put good energy. I put good energy.
No, I think Jones is going to be good, but
I don't want to have to pick.
I think Pete's like a foregone conclusion to me. Like Pete's good. Like I don't know why anybody's questioning Pete. Pete's good. So I'd agree with that. Like Pete's legit.
DeGrom better never go to the Rays. I don't think he will go to the Rays, Sabrina. I don't think that would make any sense. Anything else? Let's see. A couple people are going to bed. I guess good night, guys. I mean, the ones who went to bed are probably gone already. But again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're at the 45-minute mark. I don't even know how long we're gonna go here.
We'll tip. I figure around 55 to an hour typically. After the game, recap it. It'll be a lot more fun. I promise you guys when we win. Hopefully that's tomorrow. But I'm gonna try to do as much as easy as I can. Obviously earlier in the season, like I said during the stream tonight, I'm going to stay true to my commitment with the Knicks. So I'm going to do, when the Knicks and Mets play on the same night, I'm going to continue to do the Knicks games. They've got 20 games left in the regular season when they don't coincide with one another. As long as you're free, my man, I'll hop on here whenever to do a post game. Obviously, I'm not going to do a post game if I don't watch the entirety of the game. But yeah, we're going to continue to grow this channel. I love the Mets. And basically what I want this channel to be for everybody that's checking out the channel is to have a channel that is just New York Mets baseball. You come here, we talk Mets after the game. I also want to do videos when we have the opportunity to do it as this channel continues to grow, talk about things that are concerning us, do 30-minute podcasts, whatever it may be. So I appreciate everybody for checking out the channel. I look at it as a new challenge on YouTube. I've been wanting to do a Mets only channel for a while. Did a podcast with Tino, loved working with the guy, loved working with Mage, two diehard New York Mets fans. And I figured it'd be a great idea to start a Mets channel. So I appreciate everybody from my channel that came on over here and checked it out.
DeGrom, 8-year, $1 billion contract. Maybe he deserves it. Just give him a key to Citi Field if he doesn't have one already. I had some stuff in here. Yeah, Jason, we will learn and we'll win tomorrow. I like that mindset. We need that. We need that mindset. These are all teaching tools. We're going to hit the practice field tomorrow before the game starts, go over all of it. Guillorme is going to start getting ready for his start. He'll probably run that practice play from third to home a million times tomorrow. A million times. You think Guillorme's sleeping tonight? No. I can't even sleep tonight. No way Guillorme is going to do that. Did you see Pete is all-time in the first 2 seasons of home runs? Yes, and he has, I think, 400.
He only played 60 games last year.
Yeah, it was a significant margin.
Yeah. I mean, he had 53 in his first year, so it makes sense why he would be, third or fifth all time, whatever it is.
Bridge, it's great to meet you too. I am a Giants fan. Tanacho, like
Taco.
Nacho.
I think it's Taco Nacho.
Taco Nacho. Well, this is like Nacho Libre. This is my guy, by the way. I'm a big Nacho Libre guy.
Really, Jack Black, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Sometimes in life you wear stretchy pants. That's like it's just a great saying. Now the whole movie is just so shot. It's very dry, but I was big into wrestling as a kid, and that came out when I was a kid, so that just rolled into it. I added a few. I got Macho Man, Ric Flair in here, so I got the wrestlers in here. I got a few guys. Baylor won. No surprise to me. If you guys don't know, I'm on a few podcasts. Clap back. I don't really do sports. I work with FTN Network. They're big into gambling. I also have a show on Believe. All over sports. I am big into gambling, as Entertainah alluded to before. That's why we're fixing lines over here, seeing what Nimmo's odds would have been. But I do that a lot. So I was on Baylor today, actually. It's hard to keep momentum if you're Gonzaga. Undefeated. You just hit a half-court buzzer beater. Baylor's no joke. Baylor's not UCLA, so I don't know. Baylor beat Houston by like 30. It felt washy to me. The 4.5 I knew was a lock, but straight up, I wasn't surprised. I hope it was at least decent.
Has Gonzaga? I don't even know this. Has Gonzaga ever won a national championship? Because I always know that they're like a top 10 team, but I don't feel like they've ever won.
Oh my God, they're down 19. Not good.
Wow, what a disappointment. Because you would have figured going in. I taped it. I'm not even going to watch it now. That would have been an all-time classic national championship game between Baylor and Gonzaga.
This is what everyone wanted. They said if UCLA would have beaten Gonzaga, it would have been a disappointment.
I was rooting for UCLA because I thought it would have been cool to have an opportunity to see the lowest seed ever to win a national championship. But that's who I was rooting for.
MH, RIP to Kenny Loggins. I love The Gambler. It's a great song. I play poker too. I mean, we probably won't play poker together. Maybe we can set up an online poker thing. I don't know if that's legal, but we can figure something out. We can play a free game. It could be harmless. You ever play poker? Entertainah?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
I'm a big poker guy. But I saw somebody that, first off, I want to address Danny because I've seen him write it like 1,000 times. Yanks fan here, but you can't blame this game on Rowe. It's not his fault. Trevor May couldn't make pitches. Loop it harder, and Gamray made a bad throw. Players need to. That's basically what I just said earlier, Danny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that. TD says, love both your channels. Let's go Mets. Appreciate it. And somebody else said something that I wanted to read off of.
LGM, TD. LGM.
Oh, somebody asked a Giants question, I think I saw, that I wanted to get your opinion on. Well, I'm just curious. I think somebody said, what do you want the Giants to do in the draft right now? I saw Taco write that a few times, I think.
So I gave myself reverse psychology. I opened by saying I would not say the Giants would draft Micah Parsons, so that this way they potentially would. I have now reverted and said that I want the Giants to draft Micah Parsons. So now I don't think they're going to take him. And I think he's going to go a couple picks before us. I can't figure out if Dallas is going to take him. Detroit, it's too high at Atlanta, but there's some defense-needy teams ahead of us that will probably take him. Dude, I don't know. I'm playing scenarios in my head where the best available, because we're going to go BPA. We've talked about this. We talk about this on Clapback all the time. The Giants are in a BPA position is receiver. So I don't know what receiver it's going to be, though. I don't want – if it's a situation with Waddle, I don't want Waddle. Like, I just would rather not. So then what's the next best player available? It's there's a few scenarios. There's a few scenarios.
They could go a ton of ways in this draft. The one thing I hope that they don't do is reach on an edge rusher. That's the one thing that I hope that they do not do, and I worry that they might. They've been going to a lot of pro days for edge rushers. We'll see if that's ultimately what they do. And what about the Darnold trade today? What do you think of that?
So it's torn. I've been putting some polls out there, actually, and I think the majority of people are on the Panthers. That was my initial lean. The good news for the Jets is this, and I was going to bring this on the Believe show tomorrow, but here are some of my stats. Let me pull it up for you. I believe the Jets, I'm not even getting to it yet, 21 picks? It's something absurd. They have 21 picks in the next 2 years drafts, with seven of them falling within the first two rounds. And so the underlining thing in this trade is that if that second they get next year happens to be good, and the Panthers are probably not going to be that good this year, even with Darnold, then I can kind of make sense of it. The fourth and the sixth, I don't know. Like, that's what makes me think initially that they lost this trade. And for me with the Jets, I have ill will on the trade in general because it's not Sam's fault. And what are they going to draft? Zach Wilson and all their problems are going to be fixed? Here's the thing. Here's the precedent the Jets set. And then this is the whole rant. If you want to listen to the same thing, tune into the Believe podcast because I'm going to say the same thing. The Jets' most recent draft picks, and this is from Rich Samini from ESPN. Darnold traded. Jamal Adams traded. Darren Lee traded. Leonard Williams traded. Calvin Pryor traded. Literally, the last ones, all of them were all traded. Probably not for worth a shit, and they probably drafted terribly and didn't keep them either. D. Milliner cut. Sheldon Richardson traded. Quentin Copel's cut. Muhammad Wilkerson cut. That's just like the last 10 years.
That's a disaster. Now, the reason why I think it was a good trade for the Jets, and I agree with you that the Jets put themselves in this situation. So the Jets are at fault for having to trade Sam Darnold.
And it's great they have picks. It's great that they have the leverage, but I'm looking at it just from this trade. You get what I'm saying? Like the sixth this year, like what part of this do you like?
Well, if I was a Jets fan, I'd be happy with the trade because I honestly, knowing that they had to take a quarterback this year, in my opinion, and I actually like Darnold. I think Darnold could be a successful quarterback in the right situation, but it ain't going to be the Jets. And he's entering the fourth year of his rookie salary. I think every team in the league knew that they had to trade him, so you had no leverage. And if you would have asked me going into the offseason, what could the Jets get for Darnold? I don't even know if I would have told you second-round pick because because of what he's making. He's on the last year of his rookie salary and maybe a second. But I actually thought they maximized the value. I didn't think they were going to get much more than that. But I agree with you that the Jets definitely failed Sam Darnold and put themselves in this situation, and it's an embarrassment that they traded 3 second-round picks to move up and get him.
That's where I'm torn. It's like I like the trade. Like I know where they're at. It's not like it's not the right move, nor did anyone not see this coming. And they did get a lot for him. But the reason he was dead in the water and it was a surprise they could get anything for him was because of the disaster that they've had there. And I know Joe Douglas is still in his first year and Salah's coming in, and that's great. And they're changing the future, and they're having a shit ton of picks. But at the same time, you better get this guy right. That's all I'm going to say. Because this is the next part that bothers me. Are they really getting Zach Wilson? Because
I think they are.
I'm still in the Justin Fields camp. And I'm here for it. I've been on clapback holding it down for Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is in the situation that Lamar and Deshaun Watson was in, where for some reason their mass body of work in college and their continued success is somehow looked down upon. And people don't view it that way. And you'd rather take these chances on people of what? Of intangible ability, pro days, throws on air? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'd rather get the competitor who's done it on the highest stage over a long part of his career. Like, Justin Fields didn't just come up, and I know Wilson hasn't either, but Fields is a baller. He's been playing on some of the biggest stages. I love that Clemson game. If you want my reason why I would take Justin Fields behind Trevor Lawrence, Clemson, Ohio State. That is why. He threw 6 TDs, almost like broke his rib in that game. Dude's a baller. And I know the stigma on Ohio State quarterbacks. I don't care. I would take him. So Zach Wilson better be this guy. He better be the truth.
Here's what I'll say about the college thing. To me, the college thing is the most overrated, dumbest argument ever. Whenever I hear anybody say, oh, you can't take that guy, he's an Ohio State quarterback. Oh, you can't take that guy, he's a USC quarterback. That's nonsense, because you could put, there's so many schools that have not had great quarterbacks. That's bogus. And, you know, if the guy could play, the guy could play. So I think the school thing is stupid. I think it's silly. The only thing that you could point to is maybe that you don't like the scheme that the guy was put in because it's more college oriented. But if the guy could play, the guy could play. School shouldn't affect anything in the evaluation process. And if you feel like he's the second best quarterback, you go out there, you get him. But I don't know. You know, I think I like Zach Wilson. I don't know how much you've looked into him. I'm a big fan of him, but Fields is good too. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft. I continue to say I think Trey Lance has the highest ceiling. Outside of obviously Trevor Lawrence. I'm a big fan of Lance, but I think at number 2, Zach Wilson will go to the Jets. Everything I've read, they feel like he fits the scheme. But I think it was a trade they had to make. I think it was the right trade for the Jets to make, but they failed because they put themselves in this situation. And
the knock on Justin Fields is that he doesn't have the right attitude and the right approach to the game.
That's nonsense.
Which could be an issue, though, because he could be someone like Dwayne Haskins. The worst case scenario is he's Dwayne Haskins. He plays for a team like Washington, gets cocky in games that don't matter. He just looks like an idiot. He's taking pictures on the sideline. You don't want things like that if he's not going to actually match the price tag. But I don't think Justin Fields is that. That's what I'm saying. I think that's what people are scared of. I don't think he's that.
I take from this.
I've liked him since high school. That's why I feel like
Fields.
I like Justin. Like as a person, I like Justin Fields.
Yeah. Here's what we're saying, and we're going to wrap this up real quick because we're at about an hour. But here's what I'm going to say about Justin Fields. If you're a fan of Justin Fields, why would you want him to go second? Have him go to the 49ers. That is paradise. That is paradise. Have him go. If you're one of these, I'm going to tell you what right now. If I'm Justin Fields, if I'm Zach Wilson, if I'm Trey Lance, I'm saying if I see the 49ers on deck at 3, I'm pulling an Eli Manning. I'm saying to the New York Jets, I ain't playing there. I ain't playing. I have the option to play for a franchise that has failed every quarterback. They just failed Sam Darnold. They gave up on Sam Darnold after 3 years. If you're Justin Fields, why are you rushing to go number 2 overall when you could go to one of the best offensive minds in football with Kyle Shanahan with all the young weapons they have over there? I am doing everything I can, and this isn't trying to bash the Jets. It's just common sense in my power to go to the San Francisco 49ers. I think it is the perfect situation, and the Jets are like the worst situation. So
they are.
That's my take on it.
No, so the Mage, also check out his latest mock. Again, guys, Clapback Sports, obviously the Entertainers channel. Most of you guys came over from here. So check our other stuff out. This channel is great. Obviously, we want to promote everything. If you love us here, you'll love us everywhere else. He has the Panthers trading up to 2. They just traded with the Jets, so that probably won't happen. But the reason I feel like I'm out on the Justin Fields front is because there was blatant disrespect for him for a minute there before his pro day. All the Mac Jones hype. People thought the 49ers traded up for Mac Jones. And that's where this whole thing is getting skewed to me. It's like, because then if the 49ers traded up for Mac Jones, where the fuck is Justin Fields going? and pardon the French, guys, but it frustrates me that like people just buy into just this anything narrative, and it happens year in year out. Like NFL teams buy into this stuff too, and players fall, and value falls, and that's why. And I can tie this to the Giants now. Whoever falls, and that's what I'm saying. There's a few ways it could go, and I hope the guys that do fall are the people we all like. You know, one of the top 2 linemen, Micah Parsons, a top receiver, one of the top 2. I would at least, and we talked about this extensively, a chance at Smith. I don't know if we take him.
I love the chance. Hey, it's my hot take. I've been saying it for 2 months. I think DeVonta Smith's going to be there. I think the Giants are going to have the option to take DeVonta Smith. I really believe that. That doesn't mean it'll happen.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people point to Miami as a possible landing spot. Obviously, the Tua connection. But you can say the same thing about Waddle. But I really, in my heart, believe that I'm not going to say definitively, but I'm leaning at least a 50% chance DeVonta Smith will be there for the Giants on draft night. I don't know if we'll take him. And then you got to ask yourself, will the Giants do everything in their power to block him from going to the Eagles? But you know what? I'd like to have 2 players that we could take there, because then as a Giants fan, I'd be more convinced that they can't screw it up. But we'll see how it plays out, man. I don't want to make these too long, because then we're going to have to set a precedent that we're going to have to go like 3 hours after every Mets game. But I just want to say, once again, first off, the Mets are going to get better.
Yes.
If you're a Mets fan right now, calm down. Grab a beer. I know you're not going to sleep tonight. I'm not. I'm going to be up till 5 a.m. But grab a beer. Calm down. Maybe smoke a cigar. It's one game. Mm-hmm. It's a 162-game season. We got a long way to go. Let's bounce back tomorrow. We got Stroman on the hill. Let's get a W. Let's get to 1-1. Let's get this back where it should be. Tough loss tonight. Not going to lie. Get used to it. You're going to see a lot of these this year. The bullpen is tough. Our offense is going to have to carry us. We're gonna have to be sluggers this year. I think we will be. I think this lineup will come around, but tonight was a tough loss. Let's get game 2. But I just want to say thank you to all you guys who came over to the channel, man. We must have gained like 50 subscribers tonight. Hopefully we gain a lot more tomorrow. You guys continue to flood the stream after the games when I do it on my channel. I can't say thank you enough for everything that you do on my channel. Coming into my streams, I had a blast calling that game with you guys. Maybe Tino one of these nights will come on if he's up for it. But, yeah, and Tino, man, I had an absolute blast talking Mets with you. So thanks, man.
Never know. A fan with a mic, how frequently are we going to do these? Like we said, I mean, any day that we both can watch the entire game, we're going to get on. So tomorrow for sure. And we'll try to plan it out at least through these streams. We're both busy people. We'll sporadically be doing it. We'll at least try to do it, 3 times a week if it's even possible. You know what I mean? Depending on what the schedule looks like. Obviously they'll play weekends sometimes. But you're right. This is what we wanted, guys. This is what we wanted. 162 games last year. We were cheated. I want to sweat every game out with all you guys if possible. This is kind of therapy, but kind of just like, we try to make sense of the Mets. That'll never make sense. It'll never make sense to me sometimes, this team. But I would have it no other way. It'll make it that much sweeter, guys.
I say it all the time. Yankees fans tell me, I don't know how you could be a Mets fan. I'm proud to be a Mets fan because I'm going to tell you what, we've been through the battles and we're still here. We keep fighting. We love our team. We're with them through thick and thin. And when things finally get good, which might be in 50 years, guys, I might be in a diaper by the time it happens. But when things finally get good and this team wins a championship, it's going to feel so much sweeter than it would for a New York Yankees fan. I'm proud to be a Mets fan. I still think this team is definitely headed down the right path. Yeah, tonight's just a tough loss, but we'll bounce back.
It's a tough divisional game. Phillies went 3-0 against the team we thought were going to win the division, and they were playing at home all those games. So take that into account as well. First game, shaking out the cobwebs. I did want to note, Entertainah, we talked about this off air last time. I saw cue ball. I didn't get to tell you that yet. If you guys are staying up till 5 a.m., like me and Entertainah probably are tonight, Netflix cue ball. Pretty good little documentary. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I saw. Oh God, it's crazy, man. Is it?
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, you saw all 6 episodes.
I saw the documentary itself, cue ball, about the guys playing basketball in prison.
Oh, I'm talking about something else. If
you guys haven't seen this,
we misinterpreted it when we talked about that.
You put me on to something even better, I think.
Yeah,
you would love this movie.
I'm talking about the QAnon.
Okay.
Documentary on HBO. It's called whatever it's called. That was crazy. But I'll have to check that out. I'm always
You
looking
gotta
for
watch
things.
cue ball. That's something you would really like.
I'm gonna check that. What is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and they're like partnered with the Warriors. It's like this whole known thing. That's even crazy. If you guys haven't seen that, Evan, no 24-hour stream tonight. I don't have enough beer for that or enough energy after that loss. Maybe in a win, we'll consider it. Maybe on a win. The World Series will definitely. When we win the World Series, the stream will be live for a while.
If
that was gonna be a wild
we ever make the World Series this year, I will promise you this right now, we'll be streaming all day.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a mess.
We'll be on here for the pregame. Maybe go on my channel for the game. Come back here for the postgame. We will be very active for the playoffs if the Mets make the playoffs this year, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But
I'm gonna be an emotional wreck. It's gonna be a disaster. I'm gonna be so positive. It happens every time. I'd be so positive. Game time starts. I'm gonna go quiet. We're gonna be on stream, and I'm not gonna want to say anything because I'm so tense and stressed for the 7th inning. And then the 7th and 9th comes. Today, I was just rambling. I couldn't again, like I'm excited about a comeback, and then I'm like, great. Now we have Edwin Diaz in the bottom of the 9th. Like I'm already going through like worst case scenarios. This is what this team has me doing. Just like what's gonna happen next? How are they gonna break my heart? But I never know how they're gonna do it. Today, I did not expect the game to go that way at all. But you know what? We learn. We live and we learn, guys. Yeah, so Taco Nacho, I know you've been shouting out the DJ jersey. Yes, I got a Piazza next to him. I got a bunch of Giant stuff. That's Saquon above me. You can't see a helmet. I got a Phil Simms signed helmet. And Hostetler. It's cool. There's a bunch of stuff here. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you guys like memorabilia, we'll work on something. Me and Entertainah with some memorabilia, guys. We're not there yet, but I'll hit that.
We'll work on something. We'll work on something.
All right, so I guess.
But guys, man, I had an absolute blast.
Yeah, let's wrap this up, Entertainah.
We'll be back here tomorrow, guys. So the game's same time, 7 to 10 probably, or 10:30, and we'll be here for about an hour after the game recapping it. So
the game was going pretty fast today, and then
the game was going super fast. The first 4 or 5
was like an hour. Oh my god,
super fast the first 4 or 5 innings, and then it, like you said, it kind of slowed down. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow, guys. I know tonight was tough. I know it was a gut punch, but we're gonna bounce back tomorrow. We're gonna get a W tomorrow.
Night, guys. Night. Lighten them all up. Good night. Appreciate you all. Back at it tomorrow in 161 games.